Hi, I'm Andrew Satake Blauvelt, Director of Cranbrook Art Museum and co-curator of the exhibition, Eventually Everything Connects, Mid-Century Modern Design in the U.S. So when looking at a photograph, you always focus on what's there, of course. This is a very famous photograph taken for, of all places, Playboy magazine in July of 1961. It shows 6 individuals, all famous furniture designers, sitting in their famous modern designs. And the article itself talks about what we would now call mid-century modernism, a term that we wouldn't have until actually the 1980s. In this photograph, we have George Nelson, Ed Wormley, Eero Saarinen, Harry Bertoia, Charles Eames, and Jens Rissam. Now they're all connected in different ways and represent different aspects of the furniture industry at that moment. Charles Eames and Eero Saarinen were friends and collaborators that had met at Cranbrook Academy of Art, where they were both students and eventually faculty. They developed molded plywood furniture using curvilinear forms, which helps define this idea of organic design, which is one of the key elements of mid-century design. Their friend Harry Bertoia was also studying at Cranbrook and eventually became head of the metalsmithing department. Appropriately, he's sitting in his own collection called the wire chair collection. When looking at a photograph, you have to look at what's not there, or in this case, who is not there. Both the womb chair and the wire chair collection were commissioned by Florence Knoll, who was a student at Kingswood, which is on the Cranbrook campus, and later also studied at the Academy. She, however, is not pictured, which is maybe appropriate or inappropriate, considering the source was Playboy magazine at the time. But she is mentioned inside the article as a formidable design talent. Also not pictured in this photograph is Kaiser Eames. Charles and Ray Eames met at Cranbrook Academy of Art in the late 1930s and developed their collaboration first in a design sense and then in a romantic sense. In fact, Harry Bertoia designs their wedding ring. Other people not in this photograph would be a lot of the designers working at George Nelson Associates. Tomoko Miho, who is an Asian American designer, Japanese American designer, who escaped the internment camps to study and develop a career in graphic design on the East Coast of the United States, where that was possible. Another figure is Lucia de Respinez, who developed both products and graphics as well for the Nelson office. Other people who are missing from this picture would be Joel Robinson, who is the only Black designer included in the Museum of Modern Art's famous Good Design program. People like Howard Smith, who was also involved in textiles but chose to leave the United States and work in Finland. Isamu Noguchi, who was also designing for Herman Miller in his early part of his career and created many iconic and famous designs for them. Ray Kamai, Ruth Adler Schnee, and Jerry Kavanaugh, also Cranbrook graduates. Those are just some of the examples of what's not in the photograph. So there are many women, designers of color, absent from this photograph, and that became the curatorial conceit for the exhibition. Eventually, Everything Connects, Mid-Century Modern Design in the U.S.